Hello everyone, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Mariah.
We're part of Mosaic MSC in Los Angeles, and we're happy. What?
I said that's right.
Oh! So you were correcting me.
No.
I
love it. And this is CCM Cafe. So we've been doing this for we should actually figure out what year we started because I feel like we've been saying 8 years for a long time. But 8 years ago, and it really just came super naturally out of our worship team. And so I was a part of that, and Carlos kind of joined before, a little bit after we started writing music. And so it was 8 years ago, just really came super naturally out of the worship team, just people that were on it that had a heart to write music. And started off not super great because when you start writing songs, it's not instant amazing everything. It took a lot of years to get to a point that felt like we felt really good about what we were writing. And we've pretty much been doing it since the beginning of what we call MSC, but it really is just our worship team. And so, you'll see a lot of different people, you hear a lot of different voices, and that's just because in that season, it's who's leading, it's who's actually actively part of the church. And so we keep it super church focused. It's really why we do everything. LA is a really unique place. It's a really special place, and the people there are really special, and the language is different than anywhere in the world, really, because people come for lots of different reasons, but there's definitely a rich culture and a really beautiful diversity in people and walks of life and everything. And so we try to keep it super in touch with what's happening in LA, what's happening with our church.
Yeah, and I was born and raised in Puerto Rico, and about 10 years ago I moved to Los Angeles, and even before I moved to LA, I was already listening to a podcast from Mosaic, and I felt very connected to the mission and to the way that Pastor Erwin, who's Mariah's dad, he's our lead pastor, the way that he talks about Jesus and the way that creativity and faith is communicated in Mosaic. I found it to be very, very interesting. And 10 years ago, started coming to Mosaic and connected with Mariah. We became good friends, and she invited me to be part of the group. And now, we get to do this. My parents are pastors of a small Hispanic church in PR, and but even that I grew up in church, I had my years where I was questioning everything, where I felt very disconnected from God, and Mosaic was a huge part of me reconnecting with Jesus, and not just reconnecting with Jesus, but also believing in the power of the church, of having a community, a place that is on a mission together. And I love the fact that I get to be part of this, because I feel now I'm kind of giving back to something that I feel it actually reconnected my life and realigned my life with the mission of Jesus.
Yeah. That's part of why we write music, is we don't focus all of our efforts one of the main things I feel my dad has taught us that he does very specifically in his books and his speaking and all that, is he speaks a very simple language but very poetic and profound, so that everyone can understand. And I think a lot of times within the church we speak a language that only Christians can understand, and so it's sort of bridging the gap of let's grow in faith together, but let's also be able to connect to someone that's walking in as an atheist. Today someone was just sharing a story about her atheist friend that wanted to come to Mosaic because she felt like she wanted to ask questions and discover her faith. She was I want to be somewhere that allows me this space to be comfortable questioning. And I feel that's the beauty of Mosaic, is that we use creativity, we use art, we use music and design as a way to connect to people that don't know how to connect to Jesus yet. And so it's a really unique thing, and I think it's very specific to our LA community. And in Seattle, there's a lot of different ways that they connect that are more specific to that city, but and Mexico City and Atlanta and all that stuff. But I think outside of doing like ministry things that we do, you know, every week to connect to the community, like on a bigger level, that's why we do this.
Yeah.
Is because like we want people driving in a car to be like, that song is really cool. That song is like something I want to listen to, and then go deeper, and it's actually about something that means something important. It's actually about like a soul conversation. And so that's always been why we do it, you know, why we make the music we make and why it sounds the way it sounds and why it's different is because we're really trying to connect to people on a soul level, but by like making it really unique and musically like interesting.
I love that you like your question about like your music reaching people and like the church reaching people, because you know like it is everything that we do as a church and as a music and worship ministry. It's about helping people connect to Jesus, and especially the people who are the furthest from God. We're not just doing. I feel like a lot of time like we kind of like think that worship is just this thing or this expression that only connects you to God. And we're like, no, like worship should also connect you to people. And we want everything that we sing, everything that we are as people who are part of a local church, to be about people and to be about people who they probably would not find Jesus if there's no one else that would step in the middle and will get in the gap, close the gap between them and the church. And I feel like so much of what we do with our music is trying to close that gap with people and finding a language that makes it simple, you know, that makes it easy to understand.
I mean, yes, it definitely is. That's so funny. Because our last record, which was 2 years ago, it was an accidental COVID record because we had recorded it in January of 2020. We did a live album, and it came out in May 2020. So it was like this, like in between that time of like finishing it and releasing it, no one could be together, and we couldn't play it at church, and we, you know, like there was no way of really like being able to like celebrate it or like get people on board. And so this is a COVID record, but it's different. So yeah, we started writing it 2 years ago. And for us, like in LA, it's been locked down for a long time. Like I heard in Nashville, it was like 3 months or something, and then it was a little less intense, but it's been pretty like full on for like over 2 years at this point. And so, you know, we started writing it 2 years ago, and we just took our time, and I think that was like really big because we produced it ourselves, we did everything ourselves, and so that was, we needed the time because we didn't know what we were doing, and I think it really helped us like be able to process a lot of the things that were going on in the time like spent like really alone, because I think that we experienced it in church and even with ourselves and with people on our team that those months that were like truly locked down, like you couldn't go anywhere, you couldn't even go to the grocery store or anything, it really did something very heavy in people. And so I think it took some time for us to kind of like process that stuff and be together and like have fun and like remember why we do it and connect to Jesus, and like it took us that time. And so I'm really grateful. I'm not grateful for those 2 years in a lot of ways, but that was something that was really special, was just to be able to like take the time to really like find out how like God was going to move in our lives and in these songs. And like a lot of times we're running a million miles an hour because we're, you know, doing church every week, Sunday to Sunday, and we live in LA, so everyone's just doing a million things, even if you don't know the million things that you're doing. But to take the time to be intentional with every word, with every lyric, with every chord, with everything, I think it was really special, and I think it's why we're so proud of it, is because we took those moments to slow down.
We should have put in the cover art like COVID album.
COVID album, live from COVID-19.
I honestly like every song has a texture. Like I would say it's a very interesting combination of like pain. Like you hear that we talk a lot about gratitude in the album. But you can tell that it's a gratitude that is not empty. You know, like we have the first song that we're putting out from the album is called "This Is How I Thank the Lord." But the first song in the album It's called How Do I Thank You? So you see this like constant, you find things like that in the album in different songs where, you know, we're presenting a question and also talking about an answer. Like it feels very real in that sense, and it was something very interesting, I feel, for us, because when we sat down and started writing for the first time, This Is How I Thank the Lord is one of the first songs that came out. And we were surprised by the idea that being thankful was one of the things that came out of being in such a dark season.
Yeah.
And I was even thinking about that today, how when I look back, even that we were in a season that it was difficult, we made decisions 2 years before that we wanted to be people that we are grateful. Yeah. We had conversations as a team, like we always want gratitude to be at the center of everything that we do. Mm-hmm. And it's beautiful to see it now in an album that comes out of a dark season, but still you hear that gratitude is at the center of everything that we do.
I've loved the time that we've been able to also rebuild church, because we've only been open for like a few months at this point. And so that's been really cool, but it's also really exciting to think about touring and get excited about that, and to take what we're doing other places, because I feel like that's always been something really special that we've loved doing. And so, yes, touring. But we have 2 more singles coming out and an album coming out. And then one thing that I love, like, because our whole team is kind of all over the world and doing a lot of things, we'll kind of come together for these writing trips. And we, instead of like, we don't write a whole lot throughout the year, but we'll kind of pick like 2 or 3 weeks to like really hunker down and write a ton of songs. And so because we had so much time, we wrote so many songs. And so these songs that are coming out, we're really excited. They're really special. But we also have like so many songs ready that we're just like, okay, let's just do the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. And that's really fun, because we haven't ever had that many songs kind of just ready to go. And that's just really exciting for us. And we just want to keep sharing stuff that we've been writing. And yeah, our album comes out April 8th. And I guess we released This Is How I Thank the Lord, and that was awesome. And then To Your Arms and Unexpected Roads, which is probably one of our most like experimental songs in the album, and just really excited about the journey that the album brings people on, and questioning and gratitude and all that stuff. So we're really, really excited.
Yeah, super excited. Yeah.